What's going on, everybody? This is Snowman. Welcome to another video for Donkey Kong Month. We're going to do something totally new and different today. We're going to make a tier list of every Donkey Kong game ever, at least all the ones that I've played. I've never done a tier list on a video before, but I also realized after all the topics we've covered for Donkey Kong Month, after everything we've done, I've never just straight up ranked the games from my favorite, least to favorite. So I thought that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to try to make the definitive DK tier list. So let's just dive right in, shall we? We're going to start at the very beginning and kind of go through. I have the Game Boy and Advance games before the main series, but we'll go through those quickly. I'm not putting this in C, we're just going to drag it up to the top here so that we can talk about it. We're starting with just good old Donkey Kong, the arcade game. 1981, I believe. Obviously very influential, very important for gaming, saved the gaming crash of the 80s, right? But in retrospect, especially after playing Donkey Kong 94, I had never even heard of that game before like a week ago. I did this on stream for full disclosure, but I hadn't played all the games yet, and so now I've played everything. This will be the for sure list now that I've actually played everything. But because I've played Donkey Kong 94, that makes this original DK arcade game especially look really bad in comparison. It's very simplistic. It's kind of hard in a bad way, like not great design. Obviously it's old, but I'm gonna put this in a solid D tier, just because, again, like I said, Donkey Kong 94 we'll get to in just a second, elevated it in like so many better ways. So let's start, and things are subject to move around. I might move things around as we go, but for now my heart tells me D tier. Let's get the land games up here. So Donkey Kong Land 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy, not great. Honestly, really kind of not great. Especially the first Donkey Kong Land. I talked about this in our last video on the spin-off games. Really bad. I think this might be the worst game on the list. I'm not sure yet, but it's definitely a solid F tier. It feels bad to play. It's clunky. It's punishing, but like in a really bad way and just kind of poorly designed. At least Donkey Kong Land 2 and 3, at least they're like, you know, replicating the original games on the SNES, and so they do some cool things. For the fact that it's on the Game Boy and that it has, you know, the bonus tokens and the Lost World, like that's crazy to me that it included so much stuff and packed so much stuff in. So at least that, I think I gotta give the land games above arcade DK, but still probably down in the D tier. I mean, we're just being real, they're just not great. The physics, like I said, just feel horrible. Better than the original arcade game, honestly, they may be below. For now, I'm gonna do this, and let's leave it as that. But I do think 2 is better than 3 for sure. All right, Donkey Kong 94, like I said, better than the arcade game in every way. In fact, it includes all of the arcade game in the first level, and then it just expands and does so many crazy cool things. This game is amazing. I didn't include the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games because that has Mario in the title. This one's just Donkey Kong, so it fits. Whatever, it's my list. This game's great, though. It's really, really cool. Adds some awesome puzzle elements. There's new mechanics added all the time. Like, you can build these bridges and ladders, and you can swing on these little poles and shoot yourself up high in the air. The coolest thing, though, by far, is Mario's movement. The fact that he has, like, this crazy backflip maneuver, and you can do a handstand, and you're invulnerable to barrels when you handstand. And, I mean, it's like, there's so much cool stuff, and it, like, teaches them to you in the little cutscenes in between levels, which I think is really awesome. I don't know, I was really impressed with this game. You know, still on the Game Boy, so it's still limited, but being on the Game Boy, I said this in the video on spin-offs, it might be the best Game Boy game that I've ever played. I don't know, it's really stinking cool, and I can't believe I'd never even heard of it before just a few weeks ago. I'm going to put it in a solid B tier for now, high B, maybe even low A, but I'm going to start with B because we have plenty more really good games to come. Let's get the Advance games up here. Country 1, 2, and 3 Advance. These are more just traditional remakes of the original trilogy in Game Boy format, but they did add a lot more mini games and side, you know, projects that you can do in the game. Side quests, I don't know, side modes, that's what I'm looking for. Similar to, like, you know, Mario Advance. They made the Mario Advance series and they kind of just remade the things but added more stuff into them. This is a lot like that. Country 1, okay, this is what's weird is to think about which ones are better between the 3 of them, because I think 3 is the worst. 2, though, doesn't change a whole lot. It just adds a new boss, which I think is pretty cool. But 1 actually changes a lot about the game. A lot of the bosses are totally different. Just the fact that it adds all this bonus stuff in, I don't know. I think I'm gonna rank it just 1, 2, 3 like that, which surprises me because 2 is a bet. You know, I feel like, spoilers, we're gonna get there. DKC 2 I like better than 1, but at least in the Advance games, I was a little more impressed with 1 and what they changed and did differently, because 2 and 3 were more or less the same compared to the SNES counterparts. So, in terms of what ranking to put them in, though, I think they're a solid C tier. They're for sure below DK Game Boy. They're below their SNES counterparts. And we'll get, like I said, things are subject to change. These might be my middle-of-the-road C tier games, though, I think. But now here we are. We're getting into the actual trilogy. Let's start with DKC 1, the one that started it all, just the traditional Donkey Kong Country. Obviously, revolutionary, graphically speaking, unseen before. No one had ever seen anything like it. Incredible. I'm gonna go A tier, but kind of a low A. And I feel, well, we'll get there, I guess, but I feel similar to 1 that I do about 3. I kind of view them equally, and 2 is by far just the standout amongst the original trilogy. So let's say DKC 1 is an A tier for now. Yes, it was amazing for the time and it's so important, but it's pretty basic compared to the rest of the trilogy, right? It doesn't like expand a whole lot. The bosses suck, like I said in my bosses video. It's just kind of like, it gets the thing started, even theming wise in the different levels. Yes, it tells a story and you progress through and you get to the Creme Croc Industries, and that's cool, but relatively basic if we're just talking about the rest of the trilogy. DKC 2, on the other hand, obviously, I mean, no secret here. You can't really see it because of the lighting, but I got a DKC 2 poster right there. One of my favorite games of all time. Might be my favorite game of all time. This is an obvious S tier, Banana Slamma tier, but better than 1 for sure. I mean, right now, no competition. This has some of the best music in gaming. I've talked to death about why I love 2 so much. I love that it expanded into the Lost World, having bonus levels for finding secrets and doing the bonus tokens, and there's so much to do and explore, the DK coins. There's just like so much to do, and just expanding the level design of 1, so it's a lot more vertical. You can do the team up toss. Dixie and Diddy are the best partners by far. Just them together is incredible. New enemies, new levels, just theming is incredible. David Wise is a genius music-wise. DKC 3 here. Now, DKC 3 is contentious. A lot of people think it's the black sheep, the worst of the original trilogy. I actually like it a lot more than most people. I'm going to put it up in A tier. The question is above 1 or not. And I really struggle with this because, like I said, I view them kind of equally. There's a lot of things that 3 does really well. I like that it expands even more the formula, that you can explore the overworld. There's like the bear swap items quests that you have to do. I think that's really cool. The banana birds. There's 2 secret endings, not just 1. There's so much to explore and do. It's a big, fully movable overworld, which is new for the series. But level design-wise specifically is very gimmicky. Every level is different. They introduce some new thing and then they throw it away. You could say that's good or bad, right? Like, 1 is guilty of this, 2 is also guilty of having some levels that feel a bit samey. You know, there's 2 roller coaster levels, there's 2 beehive levels, there's like 3 forest levels, things like that. 3 doesn't really have any of that. I mean, it does reuse level tiles, but the gimmicks and concepts within them are all unique. But, you know, that's both good and bad, especially because near the end of the game, the gimmicks get a little old. It's kind of like, I'd rather just kind of have some traditional platforming, but instead I've got to climb a rope that's burning and dodge these enemies that I have no way I could see them in reaction time, you know, things like that. So I love it for what it does. I still think, here's how I view it, is would I rather go back and play DKC 1 or DKC 3? Like right now, if I just could pick up and play 1, and I gotta go 1. I gotta go 1 above 3. There's a lot of things about DKC 3 that drag it back down, and I gotta put 1 above it. But 2, for sure above the rest in the trilogy. I think no contest. Still a fantastic game though. This, you know, all that being said, is it B tier? I mean, I like it a lot better than Donkey Kong 94, and that's saying a lot because I know I just said that that's a really good game. So still low A tier, right? Now DK64, okay, very contentious again. Obviously, myself included, have talked down this game to high heavens. One of my most popular videos, the bad game design. I still like it. You know, if there's one thing that DK64 gets right, it's its charm and charisma and uniqueness and just creativity and like its character design, you know. K. Rool is crazier than ever. Like, his eyes are literally bulging out of his head. K. Lumsy, you know, Scoff and Trough and the little elephant and pig guys, and just all the characters are crazy. There's so much to do, obviously. It gets a little tedious, but if I'm being honest about DK64, it's only tedious if you're going for 100%, right? You only need half of the golden bananas to beat the game. You can pretty much cruise through the levels and not really have to worry. Getting the regular bananas is a bit annoying, and obviously the bonus barrels suck. There's a lot of things that drag it down. I'm going to put it in B tier. Is it better than DK94? I'm going to go yes. And that's only because genre-wise, I like DK64 better. Donkey Kong 94 is a puzzle game, more or less, right? You're trying to figure out how to beat this 2D screen. Very creative, I loved it. But DK64, it's a 3D collectathon. That's like right up my alley, right? It's not a great collectathon, it's not the best out there, but I enjoy it more than the rest on this list. Now, is it better than 3? I think I would much rather play 3 than 64. I'm going to put it in a high B tier. But again, the water's getting muddy here as we kind of get toward the top. Now, Diddy Kong Racing. This one's really interesting because I love this game. It's phenomenal. It's so hard to compare this with the rest of the series. I mean, is this even a Donkey Kong game? Not really, but it is Diddy Kong on the title. It's a racing game, but it's really, really good. So what's really difficult is where the heck do I place this? Because how do you even compare this to Donkey Kong 64? They're both on the N64, but like just so dramatically different. Do I enjoy it more than DK64? Yes, I do. I'm going to put it above DK64. Do I enjoy it more than DKC 3? Yes, I do. Diddy Kong Racing is that good. If you've never played it, this game is phenomenal. It elevates racing games above anything else that I've ever seen. It's way better than Mario Kart in my opinion. There's more to do. There's boss fights. There's, you know, you rerun the levels again collecting coins, which are like hidden off the route, so you have to like change the way you race the second time. The power-ups, everything, the overworld, the different vehicles. I did a whole video on it. You can go watch my good game design on Diddy Kong Racing, but it's a really good game. Do I like it better than DKC 1? That's a tough question. They're very close. If I could just pick up and play a game, I would rather probably play DKC 1, but like, is Diddy Kong Racing better than DKC 1? I have a really hard time doing that. I think I'm gonna set it right in the middle for now. Again, things might change. Mid A tier. Amazing game. So good for what it is. Racing, obviously very different, but it's really that good. I'm gonna put it up in high A, or mid A. Okay, now we're getting to the spin-off stuff. This is probably gonna be lower on the list again. King of Swing. As I said in the last video, I really like the art style. It's a unique idea for a game. The movement is very interesting. It's very different, obviously, again, than the platforming. Not really my cup of tea, but I can't really like fault it for what it is. I mean, it's trying something totally new and different. It does kind of expand as it plays. It adds new mechanics. Same with Jungle Climber. Let's get both these up here because even putting which one is better, Jungle Climber or King of Swing, is a really tough choice for me. I love the art style better of King of Swing. I think the mechanics are a little better in Jungle Climber and they expand it more, like the team-up stuff you can do with Diddy. And I think it kind of plays more into the DK franchise with like, I don't know. And it adds kind of more new gimmicks quickly. So I might even put it above King of Swing, Jungle Climber, which I didn't think I would do. I thought I would like King of Swing better, but I think Jungle Climber expands it better. So now where the heck did they go on the tier list? Gosh, maybe right here in C tier. Are they better than the GBA remakes? Not really. It's not like I love the GBA remakes. I don't think they're good, but I don't really want to go and play these games either. So I think they might just kind of belong right here in C tier with the GBAs. You know, anything below B tier, it's not like I'm really going to enjoy these games that much, but they're fine for what they are. you know, it's like, it's hard to say, like, do I recommend it if you enjoy that type of game? Of course, but for me, this is my tier list. I think they're gonna stick here in C tier. Donkey Konga, can I have something lower than F? I think this is, I was wrong when I said DK Land is the lowest. I forgot about Donkey Konga. This is an obvious low F tier. I kind of want to make my own separate tier just for Donkey Konga, but I'm gonna put it here at the bottom at F. It's just a music game. Weird, so bizarre to introduce the bongo peripheral. Even more jarring to hear Donkey Kong sing popular music, rock songs. Feels so out of place. The video game songs are kind of cool. It's like it's got the Pokemon theme in there. It's got the Zelda theme. But then like also, I think it had All-Star. It might have had All-Star, but it definitely has that Blink-182 song in there, which is like, what the heck? Yeah, all the small things. Anyway, low F tier. Terrible game. Why is it Donkey Kong? I don't know. It feels so out of place. But also when playing it, the animations on it and everything is very bad. It's clearly a budget game. This is the only one that I would sort of classify as shovelware. It's just kind of really that bad. So yes, very bottom for Donkey Konga. Jungle Beat, on the other hand. My boy, Jungle Beat is really good. Gosh, where's this gonna go? I think it's above the GBAs for sure. Is it above Donkey Kong 94? I enjoyed it more than Donkey Kong 94, for sure. Again, kind of comes down to genre preference for me. I love the bongos in implementation here. Compared to Konga, it's like night and day difference. It's actual platforming, and they used it in really unique ways. It also just looks beautiful. It's got a lot of polish. The bosses and enemies are phenomenal somehow. Like, I don't understand it. Do I like it better than DK64? Honestly, oh, that's so hard. It's so hard to say. DK64 has so much more to offer. Jungle Beat does get a little repetitive once you get past like the first two, you know, sections. So it's kind of like, for right now, it's gonna barely be below DK64. Yeah, okay, I'm feeling good about this list so far. Barrel Blast is also gonna be really low. Maybe a low D. Just not enjoyable. But this is a good point. Is it better than the LAN games? Yes. In fact, it's better than the arcade game too. Is it better than King of Swing? Meh. I'm gonna put it at a high D tier. It's just a very, you know, nonsensical racing game compared to Diddy Kong Racing and what it does. Barrel Blast is just so bland and just doesn't feel good and fun to play. Didn't like the motion controls. Not enjoyable for me personally. I would rather play Mario Kart than Barrel Blast. I'd rather play Diddy Kong Racing than Mario Kart. So this is just gonna go in a low D tier here, and I think that's where we're gonna put that. Let's talk about the final ones here, the retro games, Returns and Tropical Freeze. All right, we're gonna finish off our tier list here. Where the heck do we put these? This is gonna be very difficult for me, honestly, because Returns, I really enjoy. Similar to DKC 3, I enjoy Returns a lot more than most people. Most people don't like it. They don't like the Wii motion controls. I didn't mind them. Supposedly the 3DS remake is the way to play it. I've never played that version, but I really liked it. The things that it does are similar to Tropical Freeze, and the way it expands things and tries new things and the level ideas and stuff. It's actually a really good game. I'm gonna put it above 3. I'm even gonna put it above Diddy Kong Racing. Am I gonna put it above DKC 1? Again, really difficult to do that. I think it's gonna go right there because there are some things that hold it back and I don't really like. The difficulty is not awesome. It's kind of like punishing, again, in like a bad way where it's almost too hard. The Rocket Barrel levels, you have one-hit deaths. It's kind of not great. The bosses in the Return series, meh, take them or leave them a little bit, personally. Gosh, even, you know, I'm kind of debating, is it better than Diddy Kong Racing? Diddy Kong Racing is so polished, and just what it sets out to do, it does so well. There are some things that really hold Returns back. When you get to points like this, you're kind of talking about what are its faults more than what does it do well. But again, if it's like, what game do I want to pick up and play? I want to play Returns more than I want to play Diddy Kong Racing. But they're so close. All of these A tiers are so they're basically exactly the same. I think it's going to go right here. DKC 1, Really, the only thing holding it so high for me is speedrunning potential. It's a very pick up and play game for me. I love DKC 1 very much. All right, Tropical Freeze is our last one here. Tropical Freeze, guys, I just gotta be totally real with you. This is an S tier. Tropical Freeze is potentially one of the best games I think I've ever played. One of the best platformers for sure. It's high S tier, way higher than 1. And the jump in quality is so insane to me. Like, there almost should be another tier between A and S to show how significant of a jump this is. Tropical Freeze is so good. In fact, I'm really debating if it's better than DKC 2 because it's really that good. But I think, for me personally, you know, what are its faults? Again, the what are its faults question. I can't really think of many, if any, faults of DKC 2, where Tropical Freeze still has a few things holding it back. You know, the bosses, yet again, are hit or miss. They're just okay. A couple of the levels are kind of, you know, annoying to play through again. And it's not that DKC 2 doesn't have its annoying levels, but again, speedrun potential and just, again, for my personal taste, I think this is our final tier list, everybody. We got S tier, DKC 2 and Tropical Freeze. A tier, 1, Returns, Diddy Kong Racing, and 3. 2, you got 64, Jungle Beat, and Donkey Kong 94. Then you got your GBAs, your Game Boy Advance and DS games. Then the kind of trash stuff, Barrel Blast, the arcade is pretty meh, your Lands, and Donkey Konga. So there you go. This is my definitive Donkey Kong tier list. I love this series to death. The games are so stinking good. Go play Tropical Freeze. Go play DKC 2. They're on Nintendo Switch Online now. Go play them. So stinking good games that people need to be playing. So there you go. What about you? How would you rank them? What would be your, like, you know, top of the list games? What would be your S ranks, your A ranks? Go ahead and try and rank them yourself, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching. We got more DK month to come, so get hyped about that, and I'll see you in our next video. Stay frosty, my friends.